Well, welcome
Always.
again, David, to our second
Hi,
video.
thank you.
And
Uh,
the topic I chose today is how we were friends in our divorce. And if the viewers like this video, could you please subscribe to our channels? It helps us a lot. And of course, if you like it, and the notification bell. Thank you.
nice. Yeah.
So
But
how we were friends, as I said to you earlier, as we were getting ready, I had a visit with my oldest brother, one of my older brothers. And he was saying when two people divorce, if somebody's angry, it makes for difficulties. And I thought to myself, well, when we split up, I was not angry. I wanted to be friendly in our divorce and work together as a team. We shared a lawyer and got the separation agreement done. And then you saw your lawyer to get your copy. But we shared a lawyer. It was very amicable for me.
I think our legal fees might have been a couple of $1,000, like everything in. We didn't disagree on anything, and it's interesting. I have noticed lately that there's a lot of talk, about men's rights, and men are feeling like they don't have a lot of rights when it comes to what's happening with their children and that kind of thing. And I think we were a great example, and hopefully we share that today, that we were a great example in how to move forward, really as a family in a different way. I've never seen us as not a family. So I think that it's, the context that we had, you had and held, was, around harmony and being harmonious and compassionate and loving with each other. And
As much as we could. Right? There were times that were hard.
Never. Was there?
As much as we could, and for our son, that was a motivation, definitely as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. That if anything, can come out of this today is that it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible, and often, if you're saying that people are angry, anger is not a fear. They're fearful that they're going to lose something or not get something, or something's going to be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable. There were uncomfortable moments for sure, but again, our context of life is that it doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger. We grow, so uncomfortable for us is like, wow, okay, this is, something's happening here, and uncomfortable is not wrong for us, and that's that was the way that it was. And I do remember we talked a few minutes about it the other day, that how long ago was this? Do you remember? Like
5 years.
25 years ago. So, but I do remember. Of course, I was much younger, and I had a story about in my mind around success and failure, or winning and losing, or right or wrong, and my story was that somehow we had failed. And I remember dealing with that as a younger man, where and as time went on, I don't see that as a failure at all. I see it as a beautiful part of our life, where we both grew, and you were amazing. And if I think there's an example to lots of moms. You insisted on me being a big part of my son's life, and I'm a bit fly by the seat of my pants, and for me, if I didn't show up on a Tuesday, I'd probably make it on a Thursday, and you were really good at saying, no, this is how we're going to do this. You're going to show up.
Oh, can I just say, I remembered a story, and the story is we had just moved into the new house, which you have found for us. I love to say that. It was so supportive. And I had Regan on my lap, and the phone rang. I pick it up, it's you. And you say, oh, it's a Saturday afternoon. I want to come by after work and pick up from Regan for an overnight. And I was so shocked. I said, well, he won't go. Because there's no notice, right? And he says, I'll go. He's sitting in my lap. Here, perfect. And then you say, great, I'll be there at 5 o'clock. And I'm in shock. So I hang up the phone, and I'm in shock. It's like, my child's going to go. And so I got his bag ready, and I was stressed, but I didn't say that to our son. I was just like, okay, Dad's coming. And, probably called you Daddy. Daddy's coming. So you come and get him, then you go and you walk down my sidewalk to the car, and I just burst into tears, like so much pain to watch my son leave and go with you. It wasn't about safety. I think it was just letting go.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing it's good to cry, right? In my education and personal growth life, I cry and cry. So probably a good 5-10 minutes, which is a good cry. And then it passed, and then I was breathing. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Wow, I think I'll have an egg on toast for supper, which I never made our son. It was always a more elaborate dinner. I could have a hot bath tonight. I suddenly was in freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were great. Like you said, no, I'll come and get him. And it helped me, right? Trust the process. And so eventually we did decide Wednesday night, sleepover, Saturday night, sleepover, and all day Sunday.
Yeah, did we?
You did it. Yeah, you came, you were regularly doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was young. How old was he? He would only been 3 or 4. Yeah. I remember that there were struggles, because I live life pretty, like I don't plan a lot, and I'd have trouble getting him to bed, and or feeding him, and you'd be like, you have to feed him. I'd say, well, he didn't seem hungry, and I think you came to my place and showed him where all the food was, so he could look after himself in a way, and it just different styles, and you were really good about it, But I remember one time I let him watch Pulp Fiction. You weren't very happy about that. And we were at the Waldorf school at the time, and they weren't very happy about that.
Oh, I bet. I don't even remember that time.
Because life was pretty loose at Dad's, and anyway, it was different. And you were great. That's all. I think that I think it's important for moms, if moms are watching, that you accepted my imperfections, and that I was different with him than you were. I mean, I'm Dad, and you're more organized in your life, and more, you just are, and that's okay. It was, and you were just great about me taking him. You had some rules. You, like, if I put him in it, I had a seatbelt on him.
Yes.
And I remember that. You're pretty upset. I think I brought him home one time without a seatbelt on, and or sitting in the front seat when he shouldn't have been. But we got through all that, and he survived.
Putting mittens on him in the winter, and you had yours on. I was like, okay, this picture.
I had, well, maybe we couldn't find his, but I don't remember that part. But sure,
You know what it is too, David, is a mother would take her gloves off and give them to the child. The child would play with the gloves. Whereas dads are, well, I can't say dads. You were different. Well, and dads generally are more easygoing than the mothers. times, generally,
Sure.
not always.
Yeah. And I think that for men, I remember, well, around Regan, you wanted what was at the time called sole custody. And I said, sure, no problem. You know, I remember not having it just wasn't a concern for me, you know, and because, you know, I was sure of who I was, you know, I'm in his life. And I also had a lot of faith in you. And, you know, moms, I think that, you know, when children are small, it's I think that kids being with their mom is great. And, you know, so you were the primary caregiver. Uh, and, but, you know, I mean, look at the wonderful relationship that Regan and I have today, you know, and with all I have 3 beautiful kids and so I never struggled with those things around custody and that kind of stuff. I just let it go.
Well, it's interesting, David, because as I recall, you caught that on our joint, you know, document, and we both said to my lawyer, no, that needs to be changed to joint, obviously.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then he didn't change it, and we didn't read it carefully. So we signed it, and your lawyer missed it too. Honestly, when it came out later, I have joint custody, or no, yeah, I have sole custody. I was like, really? No. And that was, the case. So anyway.
But it wasn't a problem.
But you still were fine when you found out later, so that's beautiful.
Yeah, just paperwork.
Yeah.
And
you're joint for sure.
I think a lot of people spend a lot of stress and a lot of money around those things. And I counsel lots of, over the years, I've counseled a lot of men to just relax around that, you know, and I've shared my version of the story. Which might be different than yours or even what happened, you know, and that I just was, you know, easy about it. And that unless we're, you know, really a piece of work as a dad, unless there's something wrong, unless we're active in our alcoholism and our addiction or those kind of things, most moms want their kids to have a dad. You know, and they get that, and you know, and sometimes moms are upset because, you know, the whole idea of family, you know, if there's a divorce, sometimes people are upset because they didn't imagine this was going to happen, but that upsetness settles down, I think, if we don't, you know, poke at it too much.
Our personal work.
Yes, and you know, we life on life's terms, and
I think my sense, and I remember another story. This is about not blaming, and I didn't watch TV then except for the Academy Awards, and it was Sunday night and it was on. I was so excited, and you were going to bring Regan home, and I think I was recording it too, so I could pause it. And so Regan just walks in the door, and you're not with him. I said, "Where's your dad?" And he's holding his side. He said, "Oh, he just dropped me off." And normally you don't do that. You didn't do that. And he's holding his side. I'm like, "What's wrong with your side?" "Oh, I have a really bad pain in my side." And I was like, he's dropped him off with a really bad pain and driven away. And I'm wanting to watch the Academy Awards.
Oh.
You know, it's a very good story for me because we dealt with it. I called a friend who's a chiropractor, and he said, diagnosed him that it was like a pulled tendon or something.
Okay.
And so he said what to do, which I can't remember was hot or cold compress, but anyway, we did it and took care of him, and he felt better. And I was so mad at you.
Imagine.
Normally, I would say we could call your dad every night. Call your dad, say hello, right? Every night. We did, just part of our routine.
Yeah, you were great.
And I couldn't get on the phone because I was going to say, "You always come in and debrief with me, and you dropped him off, and he had this pain." And it was 3 days I didn't call you. I think on the 4th day you called me and said, "What's going on? You haven't called." I think Regan still called, but anyway. And by then I went from you to, well, when you drop him off in the future, it would really help me. And I really had to measure my words because I was, isn't this crazy? I mean, as I tell you now, I'm like, what? Could you please come in and debrief because you dropped him off with the pain in his side? And so I told you the story and you said, oh, I'm sorry. I always come in and debrief. I just forgot that time. And it was such an important moment for me because I didn't blame you. I just did my best to own my feelings and this is what I would like.
Yes.
Yeah. Very powerful for me.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Fun.
Do you remember that?
No, but no, not at all. But you know, I think that for us, our whole life has been about you know, awareness or
Yes.
growing awareness,
Yeah.
or growing consciousness or expansion, and so no matter how caught up we sometimes got, it didn't take that long for us to get to a place of, oh, this is for me, this is, you know, and
Yes. For
you
my
know,
learning.
yes, and so it's been great that way. And you know, 25 years have gone by, and since we decided not to live in a in that form of a couple or that form of a family, and you know, here we are, you know, talking, and we've always talked and always, you know, stayed especially about Regan in connection with, you know, each other, and you know, I love your family, and always have, and you know, so it's great where we've gotten to, I
Well,
think.
and David, you were always wonderful because I was in our city by myself. I didn't have family there.
Yeah, you were great that you stayed. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I did too. And you always were so good at including me in your family get-togethers.
Yeah, we did a lot of that,
I
didn't
was
we?
always invited to the family dinners, and your family was great too. They all welcomed me, and
Sure, they love you. Yeah.
love them.
I was just thinking, it's been a while, but sometimes I would have a girlfriend,
Yes.
and both you and Linda, who are, you know,
Your
would
first
be
wife?
my first wife, would all be at these family gatherings, and I'd be there with my you know, unexpected, you know, the girlfriend that sometimes didn't know what's going on here, you know, and we did that a lot, actually, didn't we? At family dinners, and tons of that, and
brunches. You had a big table in your space.
yeah, that house on
25 people, 20.
Yes,
A lot of us.
yeah. A bunch, and yeah, those were great years, and yeah, and you came to parties, you know, social things, and
similar friends.
yes, and
it's so nice for our friends too that we weren't a couple bickering, so they didn't have to be around that.
Yes,
we were friends, and
yeah, as you know, I've been part of a men's group for 20 some years, and that I meet with every week, and help, or not help, I mean, they're being there as an elder in that group now is of course good for me, you know, and hopefully I'm able to be there for the younger men, and
wisdom,
and support them, and
pain, right? We go through our pain and learn.
Yes.
And we get wiser.
Hopefully, yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially if we're doing our work, our meditating and looking at self instead of pointing the finger at.
Yes. Yeah. I
We
mean,
were good at that, my sense. We were good at not pointing the finger at each other. It was more like, oh, look what I'm going through because the other person is doing those things, but
yes,
we're not saying stop those things.
Yeah.
So I can feel better.
Yeah. This is a lifelong thing, and I also tell men that when their traditional marriage ends, if they have kids together, that, you know, you're going to be grandparents together, possibly, you know, and you know, you will be at events together. This is, you know, not over. It's the beginning of a new chapter often, and I think that you know, if we have that context that it's the beginning of a new chapter in a relationship, then we can move forward, you know, lovingly, and
And if it's not there, because I've told women that when the children go to university,
mhm.
there's less contact between the parents,
Yes,
generally, right? Because it's not
yes,
like they're in school, elementary and junior
yeah,
high, high school.
yeah,
University, they're becoming more adult.
yes,
Some, people don't want to have too much contact with the former spouse.
yes.
And there is some more separation that does happen.
Ken, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. We
Well, I
have
think
a
the
son.
key point, David, is that we each did our own work.
Yeah. I'm still doing. It's never
Yeah,
ending.
myself too. We
Like,
continue.
yeah, that's right. We
Where
think,
am I stuck? Oh, I'm really feeling stuck here.
thank you for being, who you are, and in the big thing that I share often with people is that you encouraged me to be, uh, a dad, to really, when I was with my first two, I was quite young. It's in my 20s, and I didn't know who I was, let alone how to really be a dad. And I think that with Regan, it was easier to be more present and be with him. And you were very encouraging on what that should look like. You were insistent, not because you wanted your time, but because you knew the importance for him of him being with his father. You were really clear about that, the times that we spent together, and that we needed to do that time
Yes.
together.
Mhm.
Sometimes, uh, you know, I have a busy life. I've always had a full community life, lots going on, and of course I dragged Regan to all that stuff. But
Yeah,
so
good.
but I knew that you weren't saying you need to be here and get him done these nights because you wanted your time.
Yeah.
You were about us spending time together, and I felt good about that. And so I encourage mums to help their dads, because sometimes we can get into a place where we don't feel like we're good dads, or we don't, there's not a lot of role models, and we don't really know how to be that sometimes. And many of us didn't have dads that we can look back at and want to be like,
Yes.
and so.
Well, and definitely there were times where I had concerns.
No.
The seatbelt, the gloves, there are a few
Mm-hmm.
things. And I just did my best to give feedback
Mm-hmm.
without getting too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you're a good man.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm glad, because then I knew to support you and our son to have a relationship that I knew would be good, because you're a good man. Yeah. So they're all different scenarios for people in facing divorce, and I'm grateful
Sure.
for ours.
Sure. Yeah.
It was pretty good,
Yeah. Yeah. We won.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Another thing too, David, that we did not put each other down in front of the children. We didn't badmouth each other in front of the children. Even if I was feeling upset, I didn't say it to Regan. I didn't say it to him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
put each other in high regard. And I think
Yes.
that's very helpful for kids. Hear mom or dad saying negative things about the other. It's so hard on the kids.
And because we had a family that was bigger than just you and I and Regan,
Yes.
Emily and Luke and Linda and all of that, that didn't happen there either. You know what I mean? Emily and Luke always loved you, and I think you spent time with them. I don't remember the details of that, but I'm sure you spent time with them after, certainly at family events and stuff like that. So, that we had a kind of a special situation, because I had been married and had children before we met, and then you became their stepmom,
Yeah.
and and
They were great kids too. Yeah, different
I
ways.
guess. Well, yeah, and why not, eh?
Yeah.
Why not? You know, like Linda and you are mothers of our children, and why shouldn't we have loving relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Just, I can't imagine it. Uh, and I know people don't, you know, people get angry and disappointed
Hurt.
and hurt, and, you know, but let's get over it. You know, and let it go.
Well, we
And,
could be friendly. Maybe we're not going to be friends, but we could be friendly, respectful.
yes, yeah, I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. And I chose well in choosing you.